What up, y'all? This is Shepherd Dog giving you a range report on the PM9 by Kahr. I'm giddy about this little thing. It's a sweet shooter, and I just want to let you know what my experiences have been with this thing so far. I picked it up. It took about a week and a half. I had to special order it because they didn't have the night sights in stock, so it took forever. I couldn't believe it took so long. But they called me up on a Thursday, and when I showed up on Thursday, they asked me if I wanted to shoot it, and I was like really contemplating on it. And this is only my second pistol. It's my first semi-auto, so I was a little nervous, to be honest with you. So I opted not to, even though I really wanted to, and I'm actually kind of glad I did, because I've recently been introduced to a local forum called ksccw.com. It's a Kansas CCW website, and Afoyd, or Afode, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but he's a user there, and he actually recommended that I go to Car Talk and visit a thread there, because they had a lot of information about how to break in your car before you even go to the range. And I was really surprised, and that's why I'm glad that I waited and followed the steps in this forum thread. So I will put that link to that thread in the description so that you can go check it out if you just bought a car and you want to do the pre-break-in. I would strongly recommend it, just because when I bought this, it was so stiff. The slide was just extremely stiff. I could barely even pull it back. So I'll do that, and I'll kind of give you a run-through, pretty basic summary of those steps, so you can kind of get the idea. Excuse me. Now, another thing I did was I went to Ace Hardware and bought some sandpaper grip. It was like the sidewalk grip. I bought a foot sheet for a couple of bucks and spent forever trying to cut out the stippling texture that they already have on there, and just tried to make it look nice. But if I had to do it again, I'd just go buy the $10 pre-cut grip tape. But I like to drink coffee, and when I drink coffee, my hands get a little sweaty, so I just wanted to make sure that I'd be able to hang on to this little thing, because I'm 6'1" and have kind of larger hands, so it just feels better with the sandpaper to me. I'm not knocking anybody else's approach, but go ahead and safety check this. It's empty magazine and an empty chamber. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's the retarded pinky check for all of the safety queens out there. But okay, so go to Car Talk, and they will explain to you there in that thread the proper prep of a new car. Step number 1 is read the owner's manual, and then reread the owner's manual. So make sure that you read it, because there's a lot of little sticklers in there as far as how to operate this firearm effectively and correctly for 100% accuracy, or 100% reliability. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, and then number 2 is clean your gun. Don't assume that Kahr cleaned your gun for you, because I can attest to this. This thing was a bit dirty when I first got it. So that's really important. There's some other good videos out there, not necessarily on how to clean a car, but I know that Hickok 45 does a really good one on cleaning the Glock, so you can kind of follow that one. I'll put a link to that as well. And clean it out. Make sure that it's full of, or just absolutely clean. And then step number 3 is to oil it with your favorite oil. grease it, what have you, depending on how you like to operate. I personally chose Ballistol, and that's what I've fallen in love with, so that's what I used. I didn't do anything else but clean it and lube it with, and protect it with Ballistol. Plug. All right. So, because it's just simple. It's just one can, and it does everything. So, that's it. So after you oil it and you got it all greased up, here's the number 4. This was painful. I would suggest putting on a pair of leather gloves or what have you for number 4. You're supposed to empty the mag, take the mag out, and then you have to rack this thing 500 times. 500 times doesn't sound like a lot, but I'll tell you, man, your fingers are going to hurt after 500. You just sit there and count to 500, and you'll take a break after every 50, I promise, because it was a pain in the ass, but I'm really happy I did it. I followed those directions, and it was amazing what it felt like after 500 rackings of the slide. So that was a pretty important step. I'm glad I did it. And take the mags apart. Okay, let me pause here and tell you that I didn't do that, except for one. I did this one. I took it apart. You can push this pin down and slip it out, and the spring comes out. And then I guess this is called the follower. I'm sure there will be corrections eventually. And I took it, completely disassembled it, and made sure that it was clean. However, I did not do that with this magazine, and it cost me big time. I had 3 failure to feeds with this stupid magazine. I swear, I'll kid you not, man. I put in, I loaded it up with 7. It's the extended with the extended pinky grip, and I was gonna, take notes and everything to make sure that I could write down failure to feeds and failure to ejects, so I could document everything. But I soon realized after the third, after the first, I was like, okay, it's this magazine. I just wanted to note that. That was on round 33 because I did this one quite a few times before I moved to the extended magazine. And then it happened again when I put in a fresh new set of cartridges, because I was able to get the stuck cartridge into the chamber. So I was like, okay, maybe it was just, the break-in period or whatnot. But then it kept happening, and I realized I tested it with just 1 round. Okay, it chambered. Then I put 2 rounds in, and the second round failed to feed. So I quit using this magazine. I just tossed it out. I was like, forget about it. I went into the shop and, safety checked my firearm and set it down on the range there, and went back in and said, hey, you guys got any more magazines? Because this one I need to evaluate a little bit more and possibly send back into Kahr. And unfortunately, all they had was some magazines for some 40s. So that obviously wouldn't work for a PM9. So, long story short, I just pitched this and used this magazine, this one magazine. So I had to load it after every shooting. And if I take this magazine out and review this gun, give it an honest opinion, this gun was awesome. I didn't have any problems with this magazine. Everything that I stuck in there, I did it 250 boxes of Winchester white box, and then I did 2 boxes of the cheap Remington UMCs, and so 199 rounds. One of the failure to feeds ended up going out into the range, and I wasn't going to go pick it up. So 199 rounds. It was pretty much flawless if you take this magazine out. But I'll come back to that magazine, trust me. And it was awesome. It was a great experience. It felt comfortable, because I had the sandpaper, and for a really micro subcompact semi-automatic, it felt good. So now what I did when I came back home is I took this thing apart, like is in step 5, of the Kahr Talk forum thread, and